it is not appropriate for me to comment
Do you believe that,
personally on
well, you
any
said
justice.
it, you said it. Do you believe that he's a morally bankrupt person?
Senator, it is not appropriate for me
Why
to comment.
not? You said it.
I understand.
Senator, I am giving you extra time, but can she be allowed to answer?
Sure. I just want an answer. I agree that she should answer. You're not going to answer my question?
I believe I've answered it to the best of my ability. Honestly, Senator, I respect completely the confirmation process and the authority of Justice Kavanaugh and every Supreme Court justice.
But do you, this is real simple. You said just a few years ago, you weren't in law school, you weren't in college. You said Brett Kavanaugh is a morally bankrupt person. It's clear as thunder on a summer night.
What's up, Congress Lens? Audrey here. And if you just watched that snippet, you probably felt that same surge of frustration that I did. That right there is why so many people are fed up with the confirmation process. Senator John Kennedy, in that clip, isn't just being aggressive for the sake of it. He's doing something incredibly rare in Washington. He's demanding basic, straightforward honesty from a nominee for a lifetime seat on the federal bench. And what he's getting is a masterclass in political evasion. This isn't about left or right for me. This is about accountability, judicial temperament, and whether someone who has publicly spewed what they admit was overheated rhetoric about a sitting Supreme Court justice can possibly be seen as impartial. Senator Kennedy cuts through the fog, and it is brutal to watch. We're about to watch the full exchange. Pay close attention to the nominee's answers, or lack thereof. And stick around after, because I'm going to break down exactly why Senator Kennedy's line of questioning wasn't just a gotcha moment, but an essential service to the American people. Don't forget to hit that like button if you believe in holding power accountable, and subscribe to Congress Lens for unfiltered breakdowns of what's really happening on the Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you could indulge me, I'd like a couple extra minutes too. It's okay.
Certainly.
Counselor, did you really say that Justice Kavanaugh was a morally bankrupt person?
Senator, as I explained, I did not write that letter. I did sign it.
Did you read it?
I read it quickly, yes.
And you
sir.
signed it?
Yes, sir.
Did you really say that Justice Kavanaugh, if he was confirmed, would cause people to die?
As I stated, Senator, I understood those statements were overheated rhetoric, but I understood them to be just
Yeah,
that,
but you said
rhetorical.
it. You said it, right?
I did sign the letter, yes, Senator.
Okay. Do you believe that Brett Kavanaugh is a morally bankrupt person?
Senator, sitting here as a judicial nominee, it is not appropriate for me to comment
Do you believe
personally
that,
on
well, you
any
said
justice.
it. You said it. Do you believe that he's a morally bankrupt person?
Senator, it is not appropriate for me
Why
to
not?
comment.
You said it.
I understand.
Senator, I am giving you extra time, but can she be allowed to answer?
Sure. I just want an answer. I agree that she should answer. You're not going to answer my question?
I believe I've answered it to the best of my ability. Honestly, Senator, I respect completely the confirmation process and the authority of Justice Kavanaugh and every Supreme Court justice.
But do you, this is real simple. You said just a few years ago, you weren't in law school, you weren't in college. You said Brett Kavanaugh is a morally bankrupt person. It's clear as thunder on a summer night. Now, you're under oath. Do you believe he is or not? How hard is that? You'll have much harder questions as a federal judge if you make it that far.
I appreciate the question, Senator. As I stated, those statements were rhetorical advocacy that I signed as an alum addressing my law school alma mater. I did not.
Well, let me ask you about this rhetorical advocacy. Does rhetorical advocacy mean you said something, but now that you've been nominated, you're scared that you can't get the votes, so you're going to try not to answer the question? Is that what rhetorical advocacy means? What is rhetorical advocacy? Is it a lie?
No, it's not a lie, Senator. I would say that it's statements that are made in service of an advocacy position.
Okay. And if you issue an opinion and you get reversed by the Supreme Court, are you just going to say, oh, don't worry about it, justices, that was just rhetorical advocacy? What is this?
Absolutely not, Senator. If the court issues an opinion as a lower court judge, I would be absolutely bound to follow it. It is not merely rhetorical advocacy. It is the law of the land.
Okay, let me try one more time. Do you believe that Brett Kavanaugh is a morally bankrupt person?
Senator,
Sitting here today, under oath.
Sitting here today under oath, I can assure you that I respect completely the authority of Justice Kavanaugh as a duly confirmed Supreme Court Justice of the United States.
Yes, ma'am, but do you believe he's morally bankrupt?
Senator, as I stated, I respect his authority and the authority of every Supreme Court Justice sitting on our court.
Yes, ma'am, but do you believe he's morally bankrupt?
My personal opinion is not appropriate for me to say. I respect his authority as a Supreme Court
So
Justice.
you think he
as I
is
do
morally
for-
bankrupt?
I did not say that, Senator.
But you signed a letter saying he was morally bankrupt.
Several years ago, as an alum addressing my law school alma mater, I did sign a letter that I believed was addressed only to my law school administration.
Oh, you
But
didn't
sitting
think
here
it would
today-
be public?
I did not understand that it would be used as a public advocacy piece. No, I
Okay.
believed it was only addressed to my law school administration.
And you signed that because you wanted to show fidelity to your alma mater, Yale Law School?
I signed it, Senator, at the time because I felt that it was an appropriate statement to make to my law school administration, notwithstanding the overheated rhetoric. But sitting here today as a judicial nominee, what I want to assure you is that as an advocate, as a litigator, as a neutral adjudicator, and as a judge, if confirmed, I would absolutely respect the authority of every Supreme Court justice and all of its precedents without reservation.
See, I don't believe you. I think you allowed your political beliefs to cloud your judgment. And I think you said a few years ago what you said about Brett Kavanaugh, and I think you believe it. And I can't imagine what it's going to be like to be a litigant in front of you with that demonstration of lack of judicial temperament and judgment. How can a litigant possibly think that you're not going to act on personal beliefs if you were so intemperate to say something like this? Last question. Are you proud of the fact that Yale Law School has a quota system limiting the number of Asian Americans? Have you ever written a letter about that? Or does that not, where does that fit in your socioeconomic view of the world that you think everybody else should adopt and you will impose if you're in a position of power?
Senator, I'm not aware of any policy like that, but what I can assure you is that I have a track record.
You need to get out more.
I have a track record as a neutral adjudicator. I have decided cases for nearly 5 years impartially by applying the law as set forth in our statutes, our Constitution, and our precedents. And I have applied that law impartially. I have ruled
You're the only
without
person in the
personal
Milky
bias.
Way who believes you're impartial.
Mr. Chairman, can
I'm done, Mr. Chairman.
well, yes, you are.
Let's talk about what we just saw. That was one of the most effective and necessary displays of Senate oversight I've seen in a long time. Senator John Kennedy wasn't playing games. He was exposing a fundamental flaw in this nominee's fitness to be a judge. First, let's be clear on the facts. The nominee, Sarah Biden nominee, because we don't have a specific name from this transcript, signed a letter calling Justice Brett Kavanaugh morally bankrupt and claiming he would cause people to die. Now, under oath, Senator Kennedy asks a simple yes or no question. Do you believe that? And what does Sarah Biden nominee do? She hides. She ducks. She uses every phrase in the political obfuscation handbook. It's not appropriate for me to comment. That was rhetorical advocacy. I respect his authority. Senator Kennedy's brilliance here is that he doesn't let her retreat into that fog. He pins her down. You said it. Do you believe it? He exposes the core hypocrisy. If you were so convinced of his moral bankruptcy then, what changed? The only thing that changed is that you are now under oath and seeking a position where you are required to be impartial. His point about rhetorical advocacy was devastating. If you issue an opinion, are you just going to say, "Oh, don't worry about it, justices, that was just rhetorical advocacy"? That's the heart of it. A judge's words are their actions. They can't write fiery, personal attacks and then claim it was just advocacy when it's convenient. Judicial temperament requires consistency, restraint, and honesty. When Senator Kennedy finally says, "See, I don't believe you," it's not an insult. It's a conclusion based on evidence. Sarah Biden nominee has shown she will say one thing to a friendly audience, her law school, and another under the scrutiny of the Senate. As Kennedy said, how can any litigant who disagrees with her politically ever believe they'll get a fair shake? If you demonize a justice whose precedents you will be bound to follow, you have already revealed your bias. And that final question about Yale's alleged quota system? That was a masterstroke. It highlighted the selective, politically convenient outrage. Where was Sarah Biden nominee's rhetorical advocacy letter on that issue? It forces us to ask, is this a person of consistent principle or of political convenience? This exchange matters. It's not a partisan fight. It's about the standard we demand for lifetime appointments. We need judges who see the law as higher than their political passions. Senator Kennedy showed, in no uncertain terms, that this nominee failed that basic test. She showed she lacks the candor and the temperament required for the bench. That's my take. What's yours? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, this is Audrey at Congress Lens, trying to bring clarity to the chaos. Thanks for watching.